Hi, welcome to the Reluctant Ranch Hand, and today we are making cream of mushroom soup. This is probably one of my most favorite soups to make, and this is going to be your first introduction to bulk cooking with me. I don't know how many of you love Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, and this is an ode to that, but it tastes a lot better. And we're going to make our own stock today, and you're going to be able to get 4 to 8 meals out of this depending how big your family is. So let's get started. What we're going to need to do the mushroom soup is I have 72 ounces of mushrooms here. That's about 4 pounds. And I just did good old-fashioned regular brown and white mushrooms. And I did get 2 portobellos, and I'm going to use actually the portobellos for the stock. We're also going to need 4 tablespoons of olive oil and 4 tablespoons of butter for the stock as well. And you're going to be able to make your own mushroom stock today. It's really delicious and it's super easy to do. So to get started, we're going to make a mushroom stock. And how we're going to make the mushroom stock is actually using the stems from all the mushrooms. So I basically took the stems off of every mushroom, cut them up, and set those aside. And then I did a dice on the rest of the mushrooms. Now, mushroom cleaning 101. The best way to clean mushrooms is with a damp towel. You never ever want to rinse your mushrooms with water. So get a damp paper towel, rinse them off, wipe them off like this, and that's all you need to do. How I'm cutting these is I'm actually doing these as a dice. I want lots of chunks of mushrooms. I want to make my mushrooms go a long way, and it's easier to put on when you're slurping with your spoon. You get more mushrooms on your spoon that way. So I'm actually just slicing these and then cutting them at the curls here and doing nice little chunks like this. It's perfect. And you want to try to keep these as even as possible so they do cook evenly. Once you get all of this cooked or cut, they don't take that long to cook when you're making your soup. With bulk cooking, there is prep time involved. And I know a lot of people are like, well, where do I find time to cook like this? I typically cook on Sundays, and that typically is the day I'm home. So if you're short on time, you may want to do all this cutting and prep work the night before and then just make the soup the next day. So I really try to encourage people to put in the time to do this, because if you can get 4 to 8 meals out of this, the next time that you pull a bag out of the freezer, it's a meal that you don't have to spend much time on. So I really encourage everyone to embrace bulk cooking. And for what it's worth, I spent about $20 on the mushrooms. We're going to also use like a gallon of milk for the soup, and that's about $3.25. Some celery, carrots, and onion, maybe that's like $3 or $4. So if you think about, we're spending probably like $27, $28 to make this huge pot of soup that will go for 4 to 8 meals. So if you think about it, depending, like I said, how big your family is, you're spending about $7 per meal to do this. So it's really, really economical to cook in bulk. You just got to make the time to do it. So let's talk about making a stock. I'm not sure if any of you have ever made a stock, but making a stock is super easy. And the beauty of it is you don't even have to cut everything nice. So what I did is I took an onion and rough cut it. I have 4 or 5 medium-sized carrots. I rough cut those. I have 5 celery stalks. I just rough cut those. This is probably about 10 peppercorns. I'm just going to put those in there. And garlic. Some of the garlic you see, some of it has a skin on. Who cares? Because we're going to cook this for probably about 30 minutes, and then we're going to strain it. But it's the strainer will catch everything. So literally, I just keep everything on. Super easy. Let me get my rest of my carrot in here. Like I said, rough cuts. And the other thing we're going to add is I have fresh thyme. I recommend using fresh thyme if you have it. And we're going to put 3 to 4 sprigs in there. So I'm just going to take a big chunk of thyme and put it in there. Maybe I'll add a little more. This is fresh thyme, grown here locally. And we're going to add all of our, basically all of our stems and the big portobellos here into a pot. So let's get over and move over to the stove. So I have my 4 tablespoons of olive oil, my 4 tablespoons of butter. You can hear the sizzling in there. I added all of the mushroom stems, my celery, my carrots, my 1 onion, my whole head of garlic. I think I put about 10 peppercorns in there. And last but not least, we're going to add some salt. And you should always salt and pepper all the layering you're going to do. So I'm adding some salt in here right now. And we're going to let this, I would turn the heat about medium to medium low, depending on your stove. Really what we want to do here is soften the vegetables. We don't want to burn them. We don't want to brown them. We just want to get them soft. And this should take about 25 to 30 minutes, just due to the amount of vegetables we have in here. And let's give this 20-30 minutes and see how soft our vegetables get. And then we're going to add about 16 cups of water next after that. This smells so amazing. You can smell the mushrooms, the fresh thyme, the onion, and the garlic. And you can see how this is all cooking down really nice and neatly. And we're getting that brown liquid at the bottom, which is what you want. And I think this is going to take a total of probably 20-25 minutes to fully get soft. And the next step after that, we'll add the 16 cups of water. And then we'll cover it. And we're going to let that cook down for another 30 minutes to create our mushroom stock. And this base is the foundation to the soup. This is where we're going to get all the mushroom flavor. And don't worry about all the bits and pieces in here, because we're going to actually strain this out. So we'll get a nice mushroom stock out of this. So my vegetables are nice and soft, and I'm adding 16 cups of water. I'm going to turn my stove down to low. We're going to cover it and let this cook for about 30 minutes and get all that mushroom flavor developed. Your stock is going to be brown. That's what it's supposed to be. And it'll basically get all the flavors out, and we'll strain this out here in 30 minutes, and you'll have made your mushroom stock. All right, so I got my stock finished. It cooked about 35 minutes. It took a couple minutes longer than I thought, but there's but all the flavors there. It smells amazing. You can smell the mushroom and thyme. And now we're going to actually strain our stock so we can use it as the base for our cream of mushroom soup. So what I'm going to do is just pour it in here, and we're just going to let that all strain. Oops. Probably should have used a bigger strainer, but that's okay. It'll still work. And you're going to let this strain for about 10 minutes so you get all that good stuff out of there. And hopefully we get about 12 cups of stock out of this. That's my hope. And the stock is, like I said, it's the base for the soup. It's going to carry the mushroom flavor throughout. And it's got all the good stuff. And you can see it's still dripping here. So this takes about 10 minutes or so. So let this thoroughly strain. And we'll get started on adding the mushrooms, and we're going to add some leeks to our pot and get those browned. So we have our stock fully strained, and now we're going to get ready to make the rest of the soup. I have all of my mushroom that are diced, and I'm also going to use 2 leeks as well with the mushrooms. I love leeks. I love cooking with them, especially in my soups. If you're not a fan of leeks, you can use one onion instead. And with leeks, what you really want to do is just, you want to chop it up here, and then I chop it in half again, and I'll cut it in half again. And this does not have to be perfect. And then you keep just having it again. And then what I really do is just kind of doing a small slice here. And we're going to brown these up with our mushrooms before we start making the rest of the soup. And leeks are really good for you. They're full of iron. They taste like onions. And they're one of my favorites to put in my baked potato soup, my mushroom soup. And they're just, they're a great vegetable to use. So I put a stick and a half of butter and 3 tablespoons of oil, all 72 ounces of my mushrooms and my leeks. Now, we're gonna actually brown all of this, and I know this looks pretty crazy how full this is, but the mushrooms and the leeks are gonna cook down. So you really wanna get a nice brown on the mushrooms and the leeks for the flavor. And this should probably take about 20 minutes or so to really get this fully cooked down. And once we get it cooked down, then we'll add our cornstarch, our mushroom stock, and our milk. You can see how much the mushrooms cook down. And right now we're just letting all of this liquid evaporate, and we want to get a nice brown on them when that happens. It just takes like 30 minutes to do this, but the aroma of the mushrooms is amazing, and they're going to shrink down even more, so there'll be plenty of room for our mushroom base, our stock, and our milk. These are about done. They're getting the nice brown flavor here. And now we're going to add a mixture of a half a cup of cornstarch with a half a cup of hot water. We're going to mix it really good. And then you're just going to pour it in here. This is going to actually help thicken our soup. This is kind of an ode to Campbell's Cream of Mushroom Soup. And I'm adding it first because I want to make sure that we get this all incorporated and really well mixed. And the reason why I put water with the cornstarch is I didn't want any lumps. So this looks really well mixed. That's really good. So now we're going to add our chicken stock and do the same. We're going to turn our stove down on low. And once that's incorporated, we'll start adding our milk. So the mushroom stock is added. The whole gallon of, I use 1 gallon of whole milk. And I really recommend using whole milk when cooking. And it all fits in the pot. And we're going to let this cook and thicken and heat up. And this part should take about 45 minutes. The milk was cold, so this shouldn't take too long. And we're going to get all of our mushrooms stirred. The cornstarch does a little funky thing sometimes, so we want to make sure we get everything broken apart in here while this thickens. So our soup was brought to a boil, and that allows the cornstarch to thicken up. And if you look here, it's got a really nice thick texture. It's actually really, the mushroom aroma is amazing. And this soup is ready for eating. Some people, like my husband included, likes a little bit more to the cream of mushroom soup. So I am putting in some Lundgren's wild blend rice. I cook the rice separate. It takes about 40 minutes to make that. And I add the rice to bowls individually, and I don't put the cooked rice back in here because the rice will absorb the liquid and almost disintegrate. So the rice is just like, I put in a quarter of a cup, half a cup of rice into a bowl, and then I ladle in the soup. And that'll give the soup a little bit more heartiness. But the mushroom base the mushroom stock that we built earlier, you can smell it, and this tastes delicious. And just don't forget to salt and pepper to taste. And I'm also going to add a little bit of fresh parsley. I'm going to dice some of this up for some color and put that in. And this is going to taste even better tomorrow because the flavors will develop overnight. And we'll probably have this again tomorrow. We love leftovers in my house. And then I'm going to bag up the rest, and I'll probably get 4 to 5 meals out of this pot. And I can't thank you enough for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to Reluctant Ranch Hand. And please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions about bulk cooking or the mushroom soup recipe in general. Thank you.